Okay, so today is September 20th, and we are looking at day 2 for dimensional analysis. You need to do all of the things on this list. That means pick up your quick quad, get out your homework. I'm not sure exactly what number, it's probably 22 or 23. It's really whatever day 1 worksheet was, whatever we did yesterday, and your red pen. Do your quick quad and then get out your pink notes packet. You'll be using the pink notes packet while you're watching today's video. Here is the answer key to your homework. Please take a moment to pause the video, check your work, and be prepared to ask some questions of of Coach Rhodes or of whoever my sub is today. If my sub is unable to answer the questions, that's fine. Just save those questions for me when I return. So you should pause it and check your work. I'll get to the next slide in just a second. All right, here are the answers to the back of the worksheet. Those are right here. Boom, boom, and boom. Make sure you pause this video so you can take a look at the work and record any questions you may have. Okay, so we are getting into the notes. So you should have your pink notes packet out ready to go. So we're just continuing where we left off yesterday. A couple of things that we need to know, or that we need to remind ourselves about with dimensional analysis, is that we can use dimensional analysis to convert units. So we want to look at these units. So 15 cups to gallons. So there's a couple of gallons ones, a couple of cups ones, but we notice here, those are the cups and gallons ones. But I have a problem. We have to do more than one conversion, right? I can't go straight from cups to gallons. So I've got a problem there. So let's work on that. There shouldn't be a huge problem to setting up these problems. There are going to be multiple steps though. You won't be able to go straight from cups to gallons. We're gonna have to stop off in the middle. So you'll notice we need to get several sets of units. Okay, so the first set of units, we're gonna have cups, right? It's obvious. But in order to get from cups to gallons, we have to stop off in pint land. Once we get our pints, we take a left turn to get to Quartville. And finally, we can go from quarts to gallon world. And now that we have all of our units prepared, we're ready to go with our units. Now we can set up the problem. We set up the problem the same way that we did yesterday, setting up our units first. So we start off with cups over 1. We'll fill in the numbers in a bit. So we're done with cups. Now we need to go to pints. So pints come up here, and cups goes on the bottom. Now we go to quarts. Quarts on the top. There's the abbreviation for quarts, and pints. And finally, we go from quarts to gallons, and we're set. Okay, so now all we have to do is fill in our information. We were given 15 cups at the beginning, so 15 cups. And then we look at our conversion factors. 2 cups per 1 pint. 2 cups for 1 pint. 2 pints for 1 quart. And finally, 4 quarts for 1 gallon. Before we proceed, we do want to double check that, in fact, our units will cancel. Cups, cups. Remember, they cross cancel. Pints, pints. Quarts, quarts. And I'm left just with gallons. And so I multiply across the top. 15 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 15 gallons, right? The denominator is 1 times 2, which is 2, times 2, which is 4, times 4, which is 16. So 15 cups equals 15 sixteenths of a gallon. Cool. Let's get to another one. So let's try another one like this. We want to change 5 miles to inches. Now, miles is a really long distance, and inches is a really short distance. So we know that the answer is going to be really big. So we can prepare our mind for large numbers, okay? Now, first things first, what units do we need? Well, we know we're going to start off with the units that we need of miles, right? We know we're going to want to end in inches. So let's see if we see one. Okay, here's miles. Oh, I have to make a stop off in feet. And then feet can go to inches. So what do we do next? We set it up. We start off with miles over 1. Now we have to make a stop off in footland. So we go from miles to feet. And then finally we make it home to inches. Set it up. So we are set up now. Now we just plug in the information that we have. We were given 5 miles at the beginning. So 5 miles. Then we look, 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. Then 1 foot equals 12 inches. You can see now we're going to have some big numbers, aren't we? All right, let's double check our units. Miles cancel, feet cancel. We're left with inches. Now here's where you're going to pull out your calculator, because 5 times 5,280, I'm not going to make you do that on the side. So you plug all those 3 numbers into your calculator, 5 times 5,280 times 12, and we should get 316,800. So that's 316,800 over 1 inches, because 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So our final answer is how many miles? Or excuse me, 5 miles leads to 316,800 inches. Big number, makes sense. Cool. Now you guys are going to try it yourself. Okay, so when you get to this point in the video, we want to pause the video so you can first identify what units we need. So go ahead, pause your video, and identify the units you need on number 9. Okay, so you should have identified that you need ounces, pounds, and tons. We can see that in this set of units here. That set of units. The next thing we want to do is I want you to set up the problem. Set it up using units only. Okay, so pause the video, set it up using units only. Awesome. So we set it up with ounces. And we go from ounces to pounds. And then we go from pounds to tons. Now all that's left is to plug in the numbers we're given. We're given 84,000 ounces, so 84,000. And now we look up at our conversion factors. 1 pound to 16 ounces, and 1 ton to 2,000 pounds. And to make this a little bit easier, we can cross-cancel not only the units, ounces, ounces, pounds, pounds, we can also cross-cancel 1,000. We can factor out a factor of 1,000 from 84,000 and a factor of 1,000 from 2,000. So really, in essence, you're just crossing off those 3 zeros, right? Boom, boom, boom. And now the top multiplication is a lot easier. 84 times 1 equals 84. It's supposed to be an 8. There we go. Now it sort of looks like an 8. You get the picture. 84, and the denominator is 1 times 16, 16 times 2, which is 32. Now you can obviously tell that that is not simplified because both of them are even, but we can keep dividing by 2 over and over and over again until we get a denominator of 8. Go ahead and do that, please. Check your work, and you get the denominator is 2 and 5/8. So 84,000 ounces is 2 and 5/8 tons. Awesome. I want you to try number 10 all the way through. At least pause the video after identifying the units. So go ahead and pause the video now. Identify the units that you're going to need for number 10. Feel free to talk to your partner about that as well. Okay, so those units would have been gallons to quarts to pints. And we would have seen those units here. Gallons to quarts, quarts to pints. So those are the ones we're going to need. So we set up our problem, starting off with gallons over 1. And then we get rid of gallons by going to quarts, and we get rid of quarts by going to pints. Plug in the numbers. We're given 7.5 gallons. Then we look at our conversion factors. Quarts and gallons are here. 1 gallon, 4 quarts. And then 1 quart, 2 pints. Double check that our units will, of course, cancel. Gallons, gallons, good. Quarts, quarts, and we're set up with pints. Sweet. So now we can multiply. The denominator is easy. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 7.5 times 2 is 15. Then times 4 is 60 pints. So the answer is 7.5 gallons is 60 pints. Awesome. Okay, so these two problems I want you to try on your own. I want you to try to do them, and then feel free to fast forward to the next video, or excuse me, to the next part as you do these problems. I want you to try them on your own, and then check your work with mine. However, one thing we got to notice is that to get from weeks to hours, I don't have that unit here, so I want you to write down these this conversion factor. So 1 week is equal to 7 days, and 1 day is equal to 24 hours. Now, you should mostly already know this, right? You should know these. But if you don't, now you have them written down. Okay, so once again, I ask you, go ahead and do number 11. First, identify the units you need, and then second, set it up, and then third, solve. Go ahead and pause the video, try number 11 all the way through. You will want to use your calculator probably for this one. So pause the video, do number 11. Great, so you already did number 11. You can fast forward to the end of this problem if you'd like, or you can watch the explanation. So I start off with weeks. I need to go from weeks to days, then days to hours. So I set up my problem. Start off with weeks over 1. Now I go from weeks to days, and then days to hours. Now all I have to do, plug in the numbers that are given to me. So I have 7 weeks, and then I look at my conversion factors. Those are the new ones I added in. Okay, so there's 1 week, 7 days, and then there are 24 hours per day. Now, we double check that our units cancel correctly, weeks and weeks, days and days, yep. And now this is where I pull up my calculator. 7 times 7 times 24, that's 1,176 hours, which makes sense because if we have 7 weeks going to hours, hours is a smaller unit of measurement, so there will be more of them to take up 7 weeks. All right, so that's number 11. Go ahead and pause the video and do number 12. I want you to try it start to finish, making sure that you recognize we're going from inches to yards. Inches is a small measurement and yards is a big measurement. So even though there's a ton of inches, there's gonna be a lot less yards. Go ahead and pause the video, try number 12. Resume the video once you're ready to check your answers. You can skip to where the answer pops up, or you can watch the explanation. Okay, so I'm going from inches. So inches, and I want to get to yards. So I've got inches to feet, so I'm going to have to stop off in feet, and then go from feet to yards. Okay, so those are my units. Now I'm going to set up my problem. Start off with inches, because that's what I'm given. So inches over 1. I have to make a stop off in footland before I can get home to yards. Now I just need to plug in the numbers that were given. So first off, I was given 144 inches, and then my conversion factor says 1 foot 12 inches. My other conversion factor says 3 feet to 1 yard. Now before we do much, we want to double check that our units in fact will cancel. Inches, inches, feet, feet. And now I'm a little confused because the denominator I have to multiply. But one thing that's actually really helpful is 12 and 144 share a common factor of 12. So I can cross cancel numbers too, right? So 144 becomes 12 and 12 becomes 1. It's kind of nice. So now on the top, all I'm doing is I'm multiplying 12 times 1 times 1, which is 12 yards. And then 1 times 1 times 3 is 3 feet. Or, well, there's no unit there because there's no unit on the bottom. So just 3. So 12 yards over 3. That simplifies to 4 yards. Okay? So our final answer is 4 yards. Those are our final answers for 11 and 12. Okay, so you may have skipped to that point, or you may have watched the entire explanation. Hopefully now you've got enough information to move on. Not exactly sure what assignment number it is. Just look at yesterday's assignment number and write that in. Okay. Your homework is the worksheet. Now that you're done with the video, you can attempt that worksheet. This video will also be accompanied with a PDF of the notes in case you want that to accompany you. You'll find that all on Canvas. Awesome job. Don't forget, you've got some Khan Academy, right? Don't forget you've got some Khan Academy due tomorrow. Cool. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.